It's Thirsty Thursday, and you must be thirsty for fighting. That's right. It's the Logan Summit Show. I am, of course, Logan Summit, your fearless host, and you're not. All right. This show is always brought to you by Newer. Go over to newer.com. Use code Logan to save yourself that do re mi fa sol la ti do. My entire studio is built with Newer. Those three lights are Newer. The green screen you can't see is Newer. My teleprompter that I'm not using is Newer. My monitors are Newer. Do you get the point? You should. Go over to newer.com, use code Logan, save yourself 20%. And yes, you can find the link to that code in the About section of whatever platform you're watching this on. All right, let's get to it. Today, we've got an amateur MMA fighter who is currently 3-1. He is known as Bridges Zachary Tomlinson. How you doing? Do you prefer Bridges or Zachary? Which do you prefer?
So, Zachary's my first name. Bridges is my middle name. I grew up, everybody calling me Bridges. So I've never really been called Zachary. So I guess the answer to that question would be Bridges.
All right, I like Bridges. It's a cool name, by the way. I very much like that. And I was wondering, when I saw that Zachary. I think it's I do believe it would be no, not Boxing Rec. It's probably the one with the fist has you as Zachary being your your uh your middle name or whatever. So you could go on there and fix that a little bit later. But do you have an actual nickname?
No, I don't. I just go by Bridges. Tapology is the one I think you're referring to.
Yeah,
It-
Tapology. That's the one.
That I do have it as Zachary, and then my nickname Bridges, and then my last name Tomlinson. So, I mean, no nickname. I just go by Bridges, which is my middle name. Kind of just stuck.
Yeah, it just kind of stuck. How did you? I mean, it's a cool middle name. Is it like your grandfather's name or something? How did you get the middle name Bridges?
My mom gave it to me. I really don't know.
Oh well, you need to ask, dude. I need the info. I need the info, please. Next time we chat, you've got homework. Ask mom why your middle name's Bridges. I know why my middle name was Richard, because she just knew I was gonna be a it's just the way life is. But you are currently in Arkansas, are you not?
Correct.
And how is Arkansas treating you today?
Oh, lovely weather out today. It's been raining the past couple days, but today I just got out, got back from the store, and it's really nice weather today. I can't complain.
Well, I'm out here in Viva Las Vegas, and it's nice today. Some would say it's hot, but hot in the desert is a different kind of heat. Like I used to live in Miami, and 95 in Miami is like 1950s USSR. It's just gonna hold you down. It's just abrasive and controlling. But out here, I'll take 95 in the desert all day long because it's a dry heat, as they say.
Oh yeah.
Now you're out there and you are doing some BJJ at the Roca Gym. I can see the shirt right there. That's with Coach Alexander, right? How did you get into that gym, and how has that gym been treating you?
So both Alessandre and Matt, the owners of the gym, uh, the jiu-jitsu community in Arkansas is very tight knit. So we all cross train with each other, go to one gym to another, and I just kind of felt like that was my home when I was training with them. I can't say enough good things about them. They both just went to Los Angeles, kind of close to where you're at, not
Yep,
quite,
not far.
for the IBJJF Masters North American tournament.
Cool.
Place in Matt took third in the blue belt division, so he's a beast. And then my professor Alessandre, he took second in his weighted division and then third in the open. So
That's awesome.
pretty tough guys, just those two. And then we got a whole team full of just athletes.
Well, that's great. I'm super stoked that you were able to find a good gym down there because I saw, and you also have a striking a gym as well that you go to, or a striking community that you're part of as well down there. Because originally my question was going to be, how hard is it to find a crew of fighters down there in Arkansas? But you've managed to do it, and you've managed to do it with a very strong team around you. And as we always say on the Logan Summit Show, it takes a village to build a fighter. So I'm super stoked that you're down there. Before we get to the fight that you have once again with the Real Deal Championships, you've been fighting with Real Deal since Real Deal 3. Now they're going to be up to number 20. So you've been there for quite a little bit. But before, let's rewind the clock. Let's go back because I was able to preview your last fight, not with you, Bridges, but with your competitor, Mr. Seth Case. Now you won a decision at Real Deal Championships 19 against Seth Case, turning Seth Case from a 2-1 fighter to a 2-2 fighter and getting you to that 3-1 record that you're currently holding. How was that fight? How did it go down? You obviously won the decision. Talk about that fight with Seth.
So I was kind of a little disappointed with my performance. Some stuff leading into the fight. I had a teammate dislocate my ribs like the
Oh,
week
Jesus.
before the fight,
No, God. Yeah, that's terrible, man.
and it 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 kind of played in the back of my head. So I pushed it to a decision when I feel like we'll meet again here soon,
Mhm.
according to how he does in June. Because there's the June card and then the Batesville card, which is in September. That's probably going to be my next one.
Okay.
But back to the fight, it was a tough fight. I feel like I could have done better in some places, but I also just stuck to my game plan. Didn't overextend myself. Didn't really. Not that I'm going to say I didn't try hard because I did. Um,
Right.
he hits hard, but it's going to take a lot to knock me out, and that's about going into the second, third round. I was like, all right, as long as I don't get hit too many times, I'm good.
And you were good enough to win the decision. Now, I for my own edification, because I've dealt with fighter friends who have had rib injuries, and they always hate hanging out with me because it hurts when they laugh. Was the rib injury that serious where it was hurting when you laughed?
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's still pretty sore when I laugh. Like a couple days ago, now it's getting better. But the week before the fight, I normally do a lot of grappling, a lot of heavy grappling to
Mhm.
cut the last little bit of weight.
Right.
I wasn't able to put any weight on it, so that kind of made me a little nervous. But I got down to weight and everything was going well, but I still had that in the back of my mind. Come fight night, I was like, okay. And then first kick Seth throws in the first 10,
Right.
15 seconds.
Right there, right?
Connects right on the ribs like he knew. I know he
Oh
didn't.
God. Right.
I know he didn't know because it was a very hush hush situation.
Of course, you're not talking about that, dude. When my friends that are fighters get hurt, even if they haven't signed on the dotted line to a fight, they're like, "Bro, I need you to not talk about this." And I'm like, "Of course I won't talk about this," even though every part of my body is like, "I just filmed it. I'm putting it up on Twitter right now." I'm like, dude, this is what I do for a living. Look on my phone. I have a pro fighter doing a drunken promo for his fight while getting arrested, and you've never seen it. You've never seen it, and you would think like a dude like me who makes a living off of interviewing and broadcasting and being part of this news cycle would just drop that and not care. But you know what? It's not enough to go viral. Sometimes you have to stick to your guns and be a decent human being as well. Um, and I'm a firm believer in karma's a bitch. And I think everything happens for a reason, right? So I've still got it on my phone. When he tells me one day, hey, it's okay to put that out, we're going to put it out.
There you go.
But until then, we won't. All right. We've talked about Seth Case. And speaking of Seth Case, I will be interviewing them next today. That's right, today. So stick around. That's going to be at 2:15 Pacific time. That's 5:15 Eastern time. All right, let's move on. June 7th, Real Deal Championships 20. Who are you fighting and what do you know about them?
So I'm not fighting on June 7th
Okay.
because I'm still letting my rib heal. I'm
Okay,
gonna sit
good.
this one. I'm gonna sit this one out. I know there's gonna be some absolute bangers of
Okay.
fights as Real Deal always does. I know a good teammate of mine, Maddox, from my striking gym.
Yep.
He's gonna be making his MMA debut.
Awesome.
I've heard Seth Case is going back in there.
Yep.
He's an animal, but
Hopefully he'll get that win so you'll be able to see him again in September and we
I
can do.
love it.
Yeah, I was because I was wondering. You kept saying, my rib, and I know how long those things take to heal. But I also know fighters are fighters, and especially at where you're at in your career right now, you got to take the fights. You got to do what you can do when you can. But which is why you didn't back out of the last fight against Seth and have moved on. But June 7th would have been a quick turnaround for you. So I'm glad you're taking a moment to sit down. Now, talk about the main event for June 7th over at the Real Deal Championship 20, which, by the way, you will be able to watch right here on millions.co. Oh, yeah, that's right. Check it out right here.
So I've actually never met either one of those main event fighters.
Mhm.
I've heard really, really good things about both of them, and one's UFC, Bellator,
Yep.
LFA vet. He's he's gonna be excited to watch. And then you got the co-main event, which is Solo Hadley, I believe.
Yep.
He's an animal. He's been around Arkansas for a while. And then you got another pro fight with Adriana Perret.
Yep.
She's a absolute beast. She comes from one of my gyms down here in Hot Springs, and I can't say enough about her. She's scary. She's a lot of people will look at her and be like, "Oh, I could take her." No, you can't. No, you can't. She whoops up on me and all the guys in the gym. We kind of laugh about it. And then you got some more kickboxing pro fights with Rudy McLaughlin.
Mhm.
He's an absolute beast. Who else is on that card? There's just so many.
Hey, you just gave a pretty darn good rundown without having to read it off of a cue card. So you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you.
Now, most of the time, if I'm fighting on the card, I know exactly who's where and what's going on. But I'm taking this one off, so I'm a little slacking. I apologize.
No, no, don't apologize, man. I appreciate you, Bridges. Also, are you excited to be able to sit in the audience and watch a fight for the first time in what I assume is a while?
It is exciting. It's a little bit different from being in the back where you got to get in your mode. You
Right.
can't really watch as much as you want to because it's an entertaining thing to watch as well.
Yes, it
But
is.
but you're not there to have fun most of the time. You're there to do your job.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be a struggle to kind of get ready for your own fight when you have your teammates fighting.
Mhm.
But with this one, I don't have to get ready for a fight. I'm super excited to be in the crowd watching.
Well, that's awesome. Now I can see over what is your left shoulder there. Sorry, I had to make sure. I had to make sure that I was that I got it correct. Over your left shoulder, there seems to be a belt sitting there, and it doesn't look like one that you bought online from the WWE. It looks like one that you won in the last fight. Now, talk to me about that belt a little bit. What was it for, and how heavy is it?
It's pretty heavy. It's a good 10, 15 pounds probably. It's no like paper. Like it's hard. It's solid metal. It's it's for the Real Deal Championship flyweight MMA title,
Mhm.
and I won it versus Seth Case back in May 10th.
Yeah.
It it,
It's,
it
so
just
you guys were battling for the belt for Real Deal then. We had touched on it in our interview, but I didn't really think about it. And then I saw pictures of you after the fight with the belt, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You got a belt on that bad boy.
Yeah, it it's just the beginning of where stuff is starting to pay off. All this hard work, all this training, meals missed for families, like
Yeah.
family functions and stuff like that. It's really starting to pay off, but I also got to remind myself this is just the beginning. We're
Mhm.
we're we're barely at the first. I ran cross country in high school, so did a bunch of 5Ks, and it's 3.1 ish miles.
Mhm.
So we're just past the first mile at this point. Like we still got a long way to go.
And that brings me to your mantra, if you will. Let's talk about your mantra a bit here. And if you don't know what a mantra is, it's quote of the day every day, okay, kids? All right. From nothing to something to everything. Where did that quote come from? How did it spawn to being?
I'm pretty sure Conor McGregor said it, but it just stuck. You start with nothing, and then you become something, and then you become everything. So
It sounds
I'm
better when
still
you say it like that, by the way, Bridges. Because when you read it from nothing to something to everything, it sounds like a bad fortune cookie. but I
yeah.
can but I can picture Conor McGregor saying it though after having a few sips of that proper 12. Although
Yeah.
they kicked him off of that. He's not with that brand anymore.
Well, unfortunate for him. In life you have decisions you got to make, and sometimes you can be up here and
Mhm.
be making down here but decisions, and
Yep.
that'll eventually bring you back down. Like that's part of life. You got to always carry yourself with a certain attitude and respect for yourself.
I agree with you. And you know what? Conor McGregor has tried to walk the line of being a promotional beast and being a fighter his entire career. And he's done a pretty decent job of it. But, you know, the fight game is a passionate one. And we'll just say that his passion has gotten the best of him from time to time over his career. Not exactly what's been holding John Jones back, though. Man, there's nothing like the GOAT just once again doing something up his entire legacy. I mean, I have talked about over the years, John Jones, when you say he's the GOAT, yeah, I guess he is, but imagine how much better he could have been if he would have had a real focus on his career and not mucked about. And now there's over 100,000 people on a petition in like a day to have him vacate the belt. How do you feel about this John Jones melodrama that is taking place? I feel like it's like the like sand through the hourglass. This is John Jones' life.
So of course I'm a UFC fan, being an MMA guy, but John Jones, like that's the heavier guys. I fight down at flyweight, so he's not really my goat, in my opinion. I like Demetrius Johnson,
Mighty
who
Mouse.
which nobody can really debate me on that.
No, you can't argue that. You
Like
cannot
he's got
argue that.
15 UFC titles. Like
Yeah.
dude's a monster. When like John Jones, yeah, he's probably the baddest man on the planet because he's 240 pounds and he's a savage. But I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it other than that.
Well, right now, John Jones is the baddest man on the planet holding a Mai Tai. All right. That's where he's at. He's just having a cocktail, just and you know what? He should. He's 38 years old. DC said it the other day. He's looking at these younger fighters coming in where he came in and thinking to himself, I don't know if I want to do that. And that's fine at 38. You know what? I think you got a couple extra things to prove. I bet you um I bet you there's a few of the older fighters who went a little bit longer, like Randy Couture might have something to say. Maybe you've got something left to prove. But he's got the money, he's got the belts, he's got the recognition, but he cannot be playing around with Dana White's emotions because Dana White will come up and do some things. So I like the fact that they're trying to take his belt away. What do you think?
So at Real Deal,
Yeah.
which is a smaller promotion, if you don't want to fight, you're gonna get vacated like that.
Boom.
So
Right.
we I think that should be the case for all promotions. Now with a big UFC promotion, there's a lot more moving parts, a lot more this and that, a lot
Right.
more money. So it's hard to say,
Mhm.
but the, there's a other than there's a lot of moving parts. So I don't know if he should be vacated or what, but down where I'm from, if you don't want to fight, that belt ain't yours. So,
Yeah, but they build them differently down there in Arkansas, don't they?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get that vibe. But look, they should. The way I see it is, you tell John you've got 6 months to pick a fight, sign the contract, or you lose your belt, something like that. Look, there hasn't been a heavyweight title fight in the UFC for something like 5 years now. Or at the very least, it seems like it is. So we'll see if they figure all of that nonsense out. We talked about your belt. Congratulations, which is exciting stuff. And now looking towards September, going past June 7th, the Real Deal Championship 20, which will be available right here on millions.co. Besides Seth, we've talked about Seth Case maybe getting to do that one again. Who else is in your purview? Who do you want to fight?
Like I said, they're back in January when y'all interviewed me. I don't care. Whoever the promoter says, hey, this is who we got you to fight. I'm like, okay, cool. I was the promoter. So the thing about Real Deal 19 is it was 5 minutes down the road from my house. So in my backyard, I was begging him to fight on that card. I said, I don't care who you put on the card. If it's Demetrius Johnson, I'm cool as long as I'm on the card. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's the same attitude going into 21 in Batesville, whether it's Seth Case in his backyard or whoever. I'm just gonna go in there and do my job.
All right. Well, you know what? It is a job. It's a fun job sometimes. Other times, it's not a fun job at all. And if you're thinking to yourself, nah, man, I'd love to be a fighter, then get up every single day starting tomorrow and go get punched in the face, neck, chest, and breast area and tell me how long you want to keep that up for. And then let's talk about trying to make weight. Oh, you've never done that before? Watch yourself. Watch out. It is a job. It's not the easiest job in the world. It can be one of the most rewarding and most fun jobs. But at the end of the day, you know what getting into a gym does? It gets you better up here, it gets you better down here, and all around here. A gym is a community, and communities help build growth, whatever type of growth you're looking for. So whether you want to be the next John Jones or you just need to cut some weight, I recommend going out and finding a local gym like Bridges has and get involved. Not everybody needs to be a pro, but you could learn a few things along the way. All right, along the way, before we get to 5 questions, I normally ask for a prediction right now, but there's nothing to predict. So I will ask this for predictions. Will Seth Case win their next fight?
I have no clue who Seth's fighting, so I
Okay.
can't I can't really give an honest opinion about that. But I think he's got a pretty good chance. Dude is tough. I can't say enough about him. He's a tough kid. He's got a lot. He's got a bright future in this sport, in this promotion. He just he's got some stuff he's got to work on, like we all
Well,
do.
exactly. I was just going to say at this point and forever, you always need to be working on something. I mean, there's Hodger Gracie right now is working with somebody who's teaching him something. Like at this very moment, I can guarantee it that somebody is teaching him something that he didn't know before. You got to strive to do that each and every single day. All right, this is your time. It's your time down here. It's their time up there. This is your chance to talk about thank your promotions, your gyms, your sponsors. If you don't have sponsors, maybe there's a company that you want to call out. You can call out fighters. You can talk about your favorite video game, your girlfriend. I don't care what you talk about here. Talk about whatever you like. It's your time.
Well, first of all, thank you foremost for inviting me on the show, the Logan Summit show. I I like your atmosphere, upbeat. It's always a good time out here. Next, I'd like to thank my coaches over at Off the Chain and Hoka Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Brennan McKissick, Alessandre Hocha, and Matt McAllister. They're best three cornermen for me in the state of Arkansas. They're great guys. Can't say enough good things about them. And then a huge shout out to my teammates who prepared me for this last fight. None of this would be possible without them. And like you said earlier, it takes a village to build a fighter, and I agree with that 100%. Companies, I don't have any sponsorships right now, but my favorite place to eat after a fight is Rocky's Pizza. So big shout out to Rocky's Pizza. If,
That's awesome.
if you're in the Hot Springs area, go get you some Rockies.
All right, what's your favorite pizza to order at Rocky's?
Just their regular pepperoni pizza
All
with
right,
some
now,
ranch on the side.
oh, with ranch on the side. How American of you. Put a little ranch on the side. You know what? Last time I was over in Europe, I don't remember what country I was in when I saw this, but it said American chips. And it was like Lay's or whatever. It was like a regular brand that you're familiar with. But the name of the chips were American chips. Guess what they were?
What?
Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yep.
They didn't know how else to, they don't know what ranch is over there, so they just call it American, which is, you know what? I'm going to change French dressing and Italian dress. Oh, no. Hold on a second. That's what we do to their dressings too. We call it French dressing and Italian dressing. So if you want to get mad at them saying American chips, well, America. Yeah. All right. Now it's time for 5 questions. That's right, the game show all the kids are talking about on the playgrounds and the adults are talking about around the water cooler. Brought to you by Newhouse. If you need office decor, home decor, or just a good place to set your butt, I need you to go over to newhouse.com. Use code Logan Radio Rocks, and you'll save money. Yes. And once again, can you find that link in the About section? Oh, yes, indeed you can. So go check it out. Go to Newark, go to Newhouse, do yourself a favor and get some quality goods and save some money on moi. All right, here we go. We've got Bridges Tomlinson, and it's time for 5 questions. Question number 1. Most famous person from Arkansas?
The most famous person from Arkansas?
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue. Probably Bill Clinton.
Yes, that's the correct answer. There was a correct answer to this. It's definitely Bill Clinton because I can't name one other person besides yourself from Arkansas. Oh, and your coaches. I got the Hoka school going, but besides that, I don't know anybody else from Arkansas except for Bill Clinton. So there you go. Question number 2. Let's look inward on this one. What was the hardest life lesson for you to learn, inside or outside of the cage or ring?
Even if you're right, doesn't mean you should express it.
That's true.
Sometimes you just got to bite your tongue and keep going.
Yeah, recently there's been this thing where, oh, no, tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. No, we want you to express your feelings. Don't be fooled by that. Do not express it. No one wants to hear your feelings. The second that you get so-called real with people, people get really mad. Okay? Sometimes you just got to keep that stuff up here. Just keep it in your own place. And I always say about the internet, do not engage. It's not worth it. All right. And that's good. That's some good lesson right there, Bridges. I appreciate that from you. All right. Let's talk about a video game for a hot second. I'm assuming that you've played video games before.
Yep.
All right. You can live in one world. Minecraft or Roblox? Which one you doing?
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Is Roblox too young for you, or are you familiar with it as well?
No, I played Roblox a little bit growing up. Just
Yeah.
Minecraft's more put together, in my opinion.
Have you seen the movie?
No, I have not yet.
Yeah, neither have I, but apparently people were freaking the out. I mean, just losing it to a point where they had to start to put people in the theater to get people to calm the F down a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
no one thought that Minecraft was going to be that crazy, or did you? Did you think it was going to be that crazy?
I didn't expect that at all. I was like, I'd open my phone up one day and see a live chicken in a theater. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on,
Yeah.
guys?
Who brought a chicken to the party? That's how you get bird flu, okay? I'm just saying. That's how you get bird flu. You start bringing chickens everywhere you go. You know what chickens are good for? Kentucky Fried Chicken, Popeye's chicken, Zaxby's chicken. Pick your favorite chicken place. That's where chicken belongs. Just saying. All right. Question number 4. What's one thing that you procrastinate about?
Cutting weight.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
It's awful.
There's
I
nothing good
mean,
about it.
I've been doing this a lot longer
Yeah.
than a lot of guys who have the amount of experience I do in MMA because I wrestled in high school. I was always cutting weight in high school for wrestling.
So
And
did I. I wrestled at 125, but I would go up to 155 for football season, then cut down to 125. But they would mostly have me wrestle at 135, which was such a pain in the butt because I was always ready to wrestle at 125. And
yep.
I'll never forget my dad coming into my room. I had a big room in the basement, and he came into the room, and I just hear him go, "What the?" As he's walking down the stairs because I had turned the thermostat all the way up, and I was doing laps in my room, and I had, 3 pairs of sweatpants and sweatshirts on, and then the ultimate, of course, is the trash bags and the duct tape, right? So
Mhm.
I'm running around in a circle in basically what looks to be a big trash bag to my dad with the heat completely turned up, and my dad just looking at me going, "Oh, this sport is," and just walking right back upstairs. Have you ever had to do anything crazy like that?
So not to the extent of that when I was in high school
Right.
wrestling, but my first MMA fight, it was a pretty brutal weight cut to get down there. I had to put some trash bags on and get down, but now I've taken it a lot more seriously and got it dialed in to where it's not that bad of a weight cut anymore.
Well, good. It's not supposed to be. I mean, too much of a weight cut, and you could lose, but you did not lose. And I'm assuming that's your Hunter Bailin fight in December of 2022 that you're speaking of. And
Yes.
how much weight did you have to cut for that fight?
So I cut the same amount of weight, which is about 20 pounds,
Oh wow. Okay.
as I do now, but I did that in probably 2 3 weeks where I've stretched it out significantly longer nowadays and put a much stricter diet and nutrition plan together for my fights now.
Yeah, nutrition is so important. I got a fighter. I got a fighter in so much trouble. Like she just, when her coaches called her to yell at her, she just put it on speakerphone and put the phone down to let me listen to it. I took her out for Korean barbecue the week of a fight. Uh, I mean, she was like 3 pounds over at the time, and I think she was 4. She had a week, she was fine. She made weight, but like it was nothing. Didn't even have to work at it. But of course, it's the coach's job to be like, don't do that. Yeah, I get that. So, leading up to it, what are some of the little factors as far as diet is concerned that you start to put it into plan to cut weight?
So the big ones is water intake, and like you got to drink a lot of water, lots and lots of water. Even if you think you had enough water, drink some more water. And then the second one I would say is probably cut out the sugars, the sodas, carbonated drinks, caffeine, like all that is gonna just hold your weight for you, and it as much as I love my energy drinks and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you got to cut it out. And it's, if you don't cut it out, then you'll pay for it by either missing weight, which I've never done, or you'll you'll have a really tough time that last week cutting that weight, and it's
Yeah.
no fun.
No, it's not. You got to cut it out. Sorry, that's a Full House thing from back in the day when I was a teenager with a little bit of golden pager. You probably weren't even born yet. But, anyways, yeah, cutting weight is terrible. And you shouldn't even be drinking soda, anyways. Soda is the thing of the 80s. I don't even drink soda. I was born in 78. I'm about to be 47 next month. Moisturize early and often, kids. But you shouldn't, seriously, unless you're putting Captain Morgan's in that, don't, there's no reason to drink a Coca-Cola. Like, that's scary. Even, yo, I remember soda being so, like, so refreshing. The other day it was really hot and I was somewhere and I walked up to a vending machine, and I've never seen this before. Well, since the 90s or whatever, but I had never seen a vending machine that didn't have water. And this vending machine didn't have water. So I was like, look, it's a hot day. As a kid, I used to love a sun-kissed orange soda. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab a sun-kissed orange soda. I popped it. I smelled. Oh my gosh. I was back there like 6 years old. And I start humming it. The next thing I know, my ears are on fire. My fingers are tingling. There's too much sugar and carbonation in the thing. I couldn't drink it. I needed to mix it with like some ice or water it down or something. It was like too much for me. As we get older, stuff like that happens. Has there been anything since you've been fighting or eating cleaner in your fight game that now that you go back to, you're like, no, man, I just can't do that anymore?
Probably Mountain Dew. I used to love me some Mountain Dew, but it takes a little while after fight camp for me to acquire the taste for it again. And because like the first time I drink it right after a good weight cut and stuff, I'm like, yeah, this really isn't that good. And it's all
Yeah.
that sugar and stuff that my body's not used to anymore
Right.
because I've
And
been on a good diet and stuff like that. But I'd probably say Mountain Dew or any real soda at that point.
yeah, soda's crazy. And if you haven't had it for a while, your body is just like, dude, knock that stuff off over there. All right. Last question of the day, question number 5. Obviously, by the way, as you can tell, 5 questions. We just roll with the flow. Sometimes it's 25 questions. I don't know. I'm just doing my thing over here. All right, question number 5. You can only keep one, okay? You can only keep one. The rest of them don't exist anymore. The Marvel Universe, Star Wars universe, Harry Potter universe, or Star Trek universe? What's the one you're keeping?
Uh, Probably the Marvel universe. I know the most about. It'd be a coin toss between the Marvel universe or the Star Wars universe. Those are the ones I probably know the most about. Now I'm not very educated on either one, but Marvel makes some good movies.
They do. Who's your favorite Marvel character and who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Um, Obi-Wan Kenobi for Star Wars, and then Marvel, probably Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man. And plus, it's Robert Downey Jr. You know that role. First of all, that role was the first time that a comic book movie ever like made money, like a substantial amount of money, and created this whole Marvel universe that we live in. But it also gave credence to Robert Downey Jr. again, because he was on the outside of Hollywood at this point in his career. He had messed up with drugs and alcohol one too many times at this point, and people did not want to give him the chance. In fact, John Favreau had to fight to get Robert Downey Jr. that role. And as we now know, that turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to the Marvel universe, and thus created said Marvel universe. All right, this is my main man, Bridges Tomlinson, and we'll do it one more time for you. Bridges Tomlinson. right, there you go. I mean, I want to keep it real for the kids at home, and that's
Oh
how
yeah.
we do it. Look, I appreciate you coming out. Heal those ribs. Don't laugh too hard. Maybe watch some dramas, uh, and get back to being healthy. Can't wait to talk to you before your fight in September. I'll let Seth know you said hello. We'll be talking to him in just about 15 minutes, so don't go anywhere. Bridges, thank you once again for being here. I appreciate you. Keep being happy and healthy, and be the best fighter that you can be, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you stick around or come on back in 15 minutes. We will be talking to his last opponent, Bridges' last opponent, Seth Case, in just a moment. And until then, do me a favor. Be good to yourself and be kind to others. Pay it forward, play it forward. Rock like a party star, party like a rock star. Smile strong, laugh loud. Last but not least, please like, follow, and subscribe. I just dropped some new merch. Hey, Bridges, you know what it says?
What does it say?
Jab with a period after it, because that's what sets up every other punch, kick, or takedown, choke, submission, whatever it is. The jab sets it all up. It's the most important punch in all of fight combat sports. And I have made a shirt and a full line for YOU to check out. And it goes along with my second line. Of course, the first line is the Logan Summit Show. The second line is, as we always say, remember, everyone loves a good fight. We'll see you next time. Bridges, take care of yourself.
Y'all have a good one.